Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome. It is time for Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Just had a great reset yesterday. Went up into the mountains for another 5.5 mile hike. It was gorgeous. Oh, it feels so good these days, especially. It just feels like more. Feels even better than it used to get up into nature these days. I don't know. I think we're all just craving it a little bit more. Also, baby bird has landed here at my house. My daughter is home for the holiday for the week, so that's exciting. So looking forward to spending some good time with her and just, being together as my young adults venture off into the world. It's just a transition time. And I'm hanging on to every last moment, that they're under my roof all at one time. And, before they start families of their own and stuff, I know I've only got a few years left before that all happens. If, it could happen at any time, really, at any time. So I'm hanging on to it. Anyway, I hope you will enjoy this week with your family as well coming up with the holiday. I have a great show for you today. Crazy stuff happening over the weekend, right? Crazy stuff. I'm feeling like, wow, I couldn't wait to get here today to talk about it because, this is kind of what I've been saying, And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want to hear this, that aren't ready for it, that feel like they have to cling to the left-right paradigm. They need to be on a side. They need to have a tribe. And gosh, MTG, I've followed her for, all through COVID and whatnot, because she was such a great voice during COVID for the people. So, I trust her. She just doesn't seem like a big liar or a big shyster or anything. Just seems like a pretty down-to-earth type of person. And so I do trust her. And I was happy to see this post from her, because I hope that it will pierce through some of the narratives that go on social media. Okay, so as you may have heard, MTG is, she's resigning. She's resigning. She put out a video, and I'm going to play you a clip from the video after this. But this is the post that I thought she's going to keep, hammering this home for everybody. So Time Magazine, Time Publications, whatever it is nowadays, they are claiming that MTG is running for president and in 2028. And that is why she's resigning today. But it's a complete lie. And I'll just read it for you here for those of you listening. Okay, so Time, this is from MTG on X. So Time claims sources told them I'm running for president in 2028, which means this is a complete lie. And they made it up because they can't even quote the names of the people they claim said it. That's not journalism. It's called lying. I'm not running for president and never said I wanted to, and have only laughed about it when anyone would mention it. If you fell for those headlines, you're still being lulled every day into psychosis by the political industrial complex. The political industrial complex, people. That has always had an agenda when it does something like this. Running for president requires traveling all over the country, begging for donations all day, every day, to raise hundreds of millions of dollars, arguing political talking points every day to the point of exhaustion, destroying your health, and having no personal life in order to attempt to get enough votes to become president, all to go to work into a system that refuses to fix any of America's problems. The fact that I'd have to go through all that, but would be totally blocked from truly fixing anything, is exactly why I would never do it. And most importantly, I'm not the kind of person who is willing to make the deals that must be made in order to be allowed to have the title. Again, I'm not motivated by power and titles. Thank you, Jason. I'm not motivated by power and titles. The political industrial complex has destroyed our country and will never allow someone like you to rise to power and actually solve the crisis that plague all of us. So you guys, this is what I've been saying when I'm talking about looking at your country from the standpoint of it being a business. That big time players in the business, on the business board, playing the game, they're pining for their win through regulation so that they can enforce their agenda. So, on one side of it, it's very clear with the climate cult. Right? They're all invested in new energy. They're all invested in biotech. They're all invested in artificial intelligence. They're invested in the solutions. Fake meat, fake food, all that stuff. They're invested in the solutions to the problems for the climate change agenda. Okay? And then there's other people on the other side, which I don't totally have figured out what they're invested in. But either way you slice it, there is definitely a war on to change the power behind our currency. So, we've seen other historical figures go down for trying to end the Fed. There's a lot of evidence of that. And I feel that we're in another transition for that. We moved off the gold standard onto the petrodollar, and now we're moving on to a different one. And so the race is there's so many different threads to get to the finish line here for power and control. And we have several big actors, right? Big players, I should say, that are looking to control. They're looking to control and mandate and regulate the population so that their agenda gets put in place, which ultimately leads back to their investments and where they have their money and their people. And that's exactly what MTG is talking about here. Like it's not a coincidence that anytime you think, oh, we're going to vote change in this time, we're really going to vote somebody in that's going to change everything. And nothing changes. And the reason why nothing changes is because it's impossible for one person to change this infrastructure of this web of power. You've got to look at it from a business standpoint, a corporate standpoint. This country's a corporation. There are many little corporations and even a megacorp like BlackRock, all kind of trying to maneuver and manipulate regulation so that they can make more money, these players, so they can have more power and more money. And somebody like MTG, I think she fully got into politics to, for all the right reasons. But just look at the people who you feel like get into politics for all the right reasons, right? The Thomas Masseys, the MTGs, even the Ron and Rand Paul. Do they ever get anything done, really? They don't, do they? Do you think that's accidental? Or do you think the infrastructure, the lawfare that goes on, the smearing, the manipulation, the high stakes game that can be compared to a mafia, right? Corporate gangsters. These are gangsters playing at the higher ranks of the government here. And I think MTG just had it, right? Like Trump sold her down the river and she's like, you know what? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? She takes all this hate from the public. She goes on a campaign for Trump and she's like a diehard Trumper. And she just wants the Epstein files released, And he sells her out. Right? There's no, and I get it. I was, when Jason and I were hiking yesterday, I was like, it's like watching The Sopranos. Remember when Tony Soprano had to get rid of Pussy? He had to get rid of Christopher, Adriana, all these people that he loved or whatever. But it was all for the betterment of the organization. He ended up having to get rid of some of these people that he, cared for in the storyline. Gosh, it still feels like a mafioso, doesn't it? It just feels like that. It's crazy. Everything is manipulated, people. And I think once we're willing to start recognizing that as a greater population of our countries, I think we'll be able to unite with our friends and neighbors a little bit better and understand, stop watching it. That's how I feel at this point. I just feel like I got to stop watching this because it is a game, and it's dangerous. And we know that people are assassinated in it. Personally, and this is just my opinion, I don't know anything. Okay. I don't know anything. But personally, in my opinion, I feel like Trump changed his game when he had that attempted assassination. I feel like maybe he had taken on some new members or something. Just my opinion. Anyway, stay tuned. I got a great show for you, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Hannah from Washington wrote in to say, I was constantly achy and exhausted until I started working with Tammy. She taught me how to calm inflammation naturally, and the difference has been life-changing. My energy is back, my skin is glowing, and I feel hopeful again. Chronic inflammation is at the root of nearly every modern health problem, from fatigue to joint pain. The good news, you can reverse it naturally. Try it with us today at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Get a 90-day plan, priority access to my text line and email, and all kinds of wonderful benefits just for being in the Naturally Inspired community. Got questions? Just text me, 720-303-8868. Otherwise, head over to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. I know people are watching and they think, oh my gosh, I don't know, trust the plan. I'm sorry, you guys. I never trusted the plan. I never did. I don't know what plan that even is. I think that negotiations are at play. I think this is all about business. I think things change because business deals change. If you've ever been at a closing table for a real estate deal, everybody knows anything can change. When you're closing on a real estate deal, you buy a house, that last walkthrough, you're always like, oh my goodness, anything could come back where the terms of the deal change. And so that's kind of how I look at these things that happen in our government. It's like, okay, what changed? Something changed because all of a sudden, MTG is out. And so something changed. That's it. It's not personal. Do I hate Trump? No. Do I think that he was our best bet? Yes. Do I hate anybody in politics? I don't know them. And I think that if you are highly emotional around these characters that are, on the public screen of life every day, I think that you're too invested in the storyline. And that is exactly what it is. It's a storyline. And what I do here with Naturally Inspired is I try to invite you back to your storyline. What are you doing for yourself, right? How are you investing in yourself? Because I think that's the way back for America. I do. I think the way back for America is reconnection of community, reconnection to values here in our culture, American culture, understanding what makes this country work in terms of small business and innovation and the beauty of nature and being able to be self-sustaining, all of those things that is how America grew. I think it's up to the people. I don't have a lot of hope in our political system. I don't have a lot of hope in the political characters that are on the screen today, because I think the infrastructure itself doesn't allow them to make changes that we want. So that's why it's up to us. We have to change what we're doing. We have to act the way we want our country to be so that we can be in charge of shaping our future. Here's a little clip from MTG, just a little statement from her resignation.
And woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C. and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I fought against COVID tyrannical insanity.
I totally agree with her. I can see the emotion in her face when she talks about the next generation coming up, the young adults who don't feel like the American dream is within their grasp. That's it's sad and it breaks my heart, but it's all around us. Entrepreneurship is down. It's harder than ever for the small business to succeed. It's easier to go get a job you hate. Then, your wife has to get a job she hates and somebody else raises your kid. It's just, this isn't the American way. This isn't the true American culture. And that's why I say it's really up to people to reshape the culture. And, we've become addicted to materialism and consumerism. Now those are the measures of success. Many kids are off the rails. They have behavior problems. They're off the rails. There's a lot of issues with mental illness and all kinds of things, obesity. And yet we still think that it's about earning more money, going places, having things, having 2 cars, having a bigger house. Our young people are suffering, and politicians aren't going to fix that. Politicians aren't even interested in fixing that, right? They're interested in shaping legislation and pumping out a narrative for us to keep looking at the big the next train crash, right? Oh, what are we supposed to be mad about now? Oh, we're mad about this. Oh, we're mad about that. Meanwhile, we're not really shaping the culture, raising kids the way we want them to come out. Being able to live, comfortable lives without overextending ourselves to go on these fancy trips and have these fancy cars. And, the expectation, I think a lot of people haven't even stopped to think about it. Why am I doing this? Why am I working 60 hours a week attached to my phone? We've got 2 cars. We've got this big house. We're just making payments on everything. And, we got health insurance. And nobody really knows why. It's stressful as all get out. And nobody's really thriving or even enjoying the pace of life. But everyone keeps doing it. It's like they can't stop. They don't think there's any other way. Like, oh, how could you possibly downsize your house and maybe go down to 1 car so that somebody can stay home and actually pour into your children so that they can become the people that you really want them to be because they are attended to, not just dropped off here, dropped off there. And yeah, that would be nice to get to a return to that type of culture where we're actually pouring into the youth and they feel hopeful, and we're supporting small business and we're supporting these things. I mean, Amazon, right? Like, you think about how many small businesses closed because of Amazon. We've let all these corporations come in and take over the little businesses and then destroy our culture. So I totally understand what she's talking about there. It's hard to watch because it's so manipulative. I want to play this next clip because this is a creator. He does a lot of content. I actually just stumbled upon him since I've been watching Candace. His name's Ryan Matta. And he describes here how social media works when it comes to content creators and the manipulation of the information that you are seeing. Why are you outraged left and right all the time? Well, they're playing you. Watch this.
It's because of all the attacks in the comments. So he puts out this tweet, and President Trump says the American dream, and you hear him walking through the White House doors like, we fell for that in 2016, buddy. He says, everyone stop and watch the President Trump just posted. This is exactly what we were all fighting for. The American dream. White picket fences, rocking chairs on the porch, kids playing in the yard, American flag flying out front, family dinners, all under the same roof. Yeah, okay, Benny. So let me show you these comments over here. So everything you do on X has a scorecard. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into what I show my paid subscribers. But so a like is worth 1 point, a retweet's worth 2, a quote tweet's worth 5, a bookmark's worth 15, a comment's worth 27, and a reply to a comment's worth 150 points. So what that means is when you start reading this tweet, or you look down here and you see, wow, 1.7 million impressions or views. And then you go down here, Bitcoin Jesus said he gave us $250 billion to Israel. He goes, and New Glory said, I want my Second Amendment back. Yet Trump and Bondi is attacking it, and Trump is silent. And then you have Gunther Ingram and the next White House water boy, right? And then, like, whatever floats your boat. Come on, Benny, let's get real. Dude just tried to offer us 50-year mortgages instead of mass deportation, and then threatened and primaried the only 2 populists in Congress who don't want to spend another cent in foreign aid, okay? So now you look at, so Lauren gave him 27 points. And then every reply to this, all 48 comments are 150, 150, 150, 150. So when you see 1.7 million views on Benny's tweets, it's not coming from the love. It's coming from the mockery, the hate, and everybody's shaming Benny out of existence. I mean, look at that. Lauren's comment has 13.5 thousand views, and every one of these comments is people roasting Trump, just mocking him, shaming him into oblivion. That's a lot, right? That's a lot of hate. And I'm not talking about like the deep inside your chest hate. I'm talking about like, we despise you, we want to mock you, we want to shame you off the internet because you're such a sellout. You're so cucked to President Trump, you're so wrapped around the Trump administration's finger. But really, we know you're just stroking that ego because you want your boy J.D. Vance to be the next president so you can ride this gravy train for another 8 years. We see through all of you scumbags. It's all about the access to
It's so interesting because I have such a different view, I think, on the alternative media. I'll tell you about it. It's very interesting when you break it all down. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and I am so glad you are here.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. I'm telling you, as I see more of this stuff behind the scenes, you guys, you would think she's a content creator. She should know all this stuff. I don't, though. I was very naive when I came into podcasting, and I came into it because I wanted to change the medical model, because I wanted to serve people with their health. And, health is very political because it is, at the time, I came in at 2019, it was really, I saw how pharma was dominating and how the pharma lobby was pushing its way through and manipulating, and paying so much in donations and whatnot to politicians. So I wanted to just, put out the information so people could make their own choices and understand that there were other solutions than big pharma. And then, of course, COVID hit in 2020, and then health became very political. And then, I just kept pumping out content because I wanted people to be able to connect to the real solutions. And that's where it became even more, difficult because of censorship. And I was just putting the content out there. I wasn't studying analytics. I still don't study algorithms. I don't have time for that. I serve people. I serve people every day. I connect people to real solutions for health. My content is my greater contribution to trying to hit the masses so we can make a bigger impact in changing the medical model. So I don't study analytics. I don't study algorithm and all that stuff. I just put my stuff out there, and I hope as many people will connect to it as possible, because the medical system is predatory. It's a very predatory, and it has consumed people's lives terribly. And so that's why I feel obligated to put this content out there. So I never learned about algorithms on social media, especially after I got censored off of most of them. I thought, why do I want to put all this time into learning all of these different platforms when they can shut me off like that? Because they did. Because they did. And so when I see this, I now see, like, a lot of those people that he was pointing out, they're on my feed and I don't follow them. And so I understand the alternative media was invented as an answer to network news. Alternative media was invented as an answer to the networks. And honestly, probably a big part of it was Trump, because the mainstream media hated him so much. He had to find another way to get into people's lives every day. He wasn't being given time on network news. And same with Bobby Kennedy Jr. He wasn't being given time on network news. He had to find another way to spread his message. And so they used social media, but that means that they also used influencers. They paid influencers to help spread the message. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I think it should be indicated. You know, if you are an influencer on somebody's payroll that is a politician, it should be indicated as such. Because a lot of people are consuming that content and unaware that those people are being paid directly by some of these, operations. I mean, there's so much noise on social media. Who knows who is getting paid by who and what? It's so difficult. But the alternative media is still a mechanism for propaganda. And I think the alternative media has so many different sects to it now. We have like the Q alternative media. We have, podcasting for politics, people like Benny Johnson who are just, focused on Trump. And then the left hasn't been as good as penetrating alternative media, but they are now. They are starting to find those people that they could pump out through podcasting and alternative media. And so just like, this is the world we live in. Just know it. Just know it, right? When you are seeing a very curated timeline on X or on Facebook or on Instagram or wherever, like, understand it's being curated. Because then you can be like, okay, all right, so this person is obviously, like that Ryan guy said, a water boy for the White House, right? So it's just important to know that. I'm not telling you what to think. I just think that there's still a great deal of people that don't understand how manipulated the narrative is. I came across this little screenshot that I kind of wanted to share with you today. It's actually from Justine Bateman's feed. I don't know who this person is on X or anything, but I just thought this was so poignant and so perfect in describing it. So I wanted to share with you today. My high school English teacher would often critique our literature analysis work by pointing out, you're treating these characters like they're real people. They're not. They're characters. And it took me a long time to understand what he meant by that, because I always thought, isn't that the point? That writers want to write characters to be so three-dimensional that they act and feel like real people? But that's not it. Characters are tools a writer uses in service of their story. Of course, characters can be written with depth to point they feel real to us, but they exist in service of the narrative, something real people aren't beholden to at all. When discussing characters, I think it's easy to accidentally see these characters as real people and not extensions of the author's beliefs, tools for narrative, means of storytelling. And I thought, wow, that's such a great just apply that to these social media platforms and these characters in the alternative media, in the, legacy media, wherever. Like public people are almost never who they are in real life. I just hear me, okay? Because like I've dealt with a few people, over the years, and I've conducted hundreds of interviews now, okay? And public people are almost never who I thought they were in the public life. If they were like really big, had a big name for themselves or whatever, it's just chances are it's just not that. Because there's a lot of effort that goes into constructing somebody as an influencer. They're hitting certain points, trying to pull as many people in to them as possible. And so a lot of times, somebody like, I don't know Benny Johnson, I don't follow him or anything, but, I can see, I went on his timeline from that post there, and I can see, he just posted a video of him and his family at Trump Towers in Chicago, and it's very ritzy and very, this is Christmas at Trump, how out of touch, you know what I mean? Is that really a journalist? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying here? It's not your news. These influencers are not giving you news. They're giving you a character, and they're working at, enriching the character for you. And people are much more complex than that, right? A character serves a purpose to tell a story within a storyline. And so people in real life are far more complex than that. And so there's always complexity behind the scenes that you're not seeing, and I'm sure being the president of the United States, I'm sure there's some really terrible decisions that you have to make, right? Maybe for the greater good. I don't know. But I do know that, a lot of the stuff that we are, seeing online all the time from influencers and stuff, this is very calculated information. Some of these creators, they're more like rats in a maze. They're checking their analytics. I got to get this many retweets for 150 points and this many likes for this, and get it up in the algorithm, get it up. There's bot farms just pumping out certain narratives all the time. There's no I don't know. Over the weekend, I did some grocery shopping, and I happened to pass a protest. And it was all older people. I would say the average age there must have been late 60s and 70s. And they're protesting ICE, protesting ICE. And I thought, protesting ICE on a Saturday, how many Saturdays do these people have left? You know what I mean? And where does that narrative come from? How come that's such a hot button for them right now? Where are they getting that storyline from? Who's the characters? Who's the cast of characters? Right? So that's what I'm saying when I say, the left-right paradigm. I totally agree here with MTG. This is a cast of characters that are serving their needs. And some of these people, I don't know how many Saturdays some of these people had. They had walkers and wheelchairs, and, it's just sad to me. Turn inward. Turn inward and enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. This is a game, a very dangerous one. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Did you know that over 70% of Americans are on at least one prescription drug, if not many? And these drugs, they have side effects that cause sometimes more problems than they solve, most definitely. When you visit your doctor, chances are you're going to leave with a prescription. And when you work with a natural health practitioner, you can spend sometimes thousands of dollars and often not get the results you want because you can't complete the protocols. It just gets too expensive. That's why I created Naturally Inspired Health Community. This is where you can get health coaching, guidance, community support for free just by purchasing the same top-tier EWG certified clean products that I personally use and recommend. You get 15% discount on every order when you become a member of my partnered website. That becoming a member costs $50. So your first purchase needs to be $50. And then for a lifetime moving forward, you get 15% off of retail on all of the products on the website. You get free and flat rate shipping. You get loyalty points towards free product. I just helped somebody use their loyalty points yesterday, and we were able to get her some free omegas, which she loved. She was super happy about that. And you also get access to our weekly wellness workshops. Every Tuesday night, I talk about a different health topic, and then we do 30 minutes of question and answer and community as well. You also get private online health community website access, personal access to me on my health text line. And when you join our community, you're not just buying products. You're investing in your health. You're gaining knowledge, the knowledge you need to make critical decisions about your health. And you're standing for freedom, especially in health, and you're helping other people understand by supporting the show that the pharmaceutical model is a trap. Our medical system is a trap. And there are real solutions for health. So join us today in the community at naturallyinspiredstore.com. You'll get support, you'll get information, and you'll be truly inspired to live well naturally. Naturallyinspiredstore.com. Okay, now it's time for our Naturally Inspired moment. Today, I want to talk about regrets. So 5 strategies to let go of regret. Oh my goodness. We can't change the past, right? But we tend to ruminate on it and beat ourselves up. And what that does is it ends up paralyzing us from moving forward and enjoying life. So, regret is one of the heaviest emotions we carry. You can shift from shame to understanding, and regret will become wisdom as you move forward with purpose. How do you do that? Easier said than done, right? Well, here are some really good strategies for you. Number 1, you've got to reframe the story. So that experience shaped who I am and what I know. Instead of beating yourself up about, oh my gosh, I did this in the past, or I did that, and you feel so terrible about it, understand that that experience shaped who you are today and what you know now. So your past self was doing the best they could with the awareness that they had at that time. And growth means you see differently now, and that's something to honor, not to punish. Before, you may not have even recognized some of the things that you were doing. So awareness is key, and awareness means growth. So you see it differently now. Honor that. Don't keep punishing yourself. It doesn't help anybody. So write one sentence that begins with, because of that experience from the past, I now understand this, And that's why I always say sometimes our biggest pains are our biggest purpose. They end up being our biggest purpose, because when you can learn from your past, you can share that wisdom with other people and maybe prevent them from making similar mistakes. So when you live in shame and you don't talk about the past, or you won't, have awareness around your growth, then it's not helping anybody. It's not helping you. It's not helping anybody else, because you're kind of leaving it in the shadows. Instead, bring it forward, own it, have awareness about it, and understand that it's part of you, and move forward in a positive light with it. Separate the lesson from the emotion. Regret often lingers because the lesson is still tangled in your guilt. Once the lesson is learned, the emotion can be released. You only need to hold on to the wisdom, not the weight. Okay? So here's action for it. Ask yourself, what did this teach me that I want to take forward? And what emotion do I need to leave behind? Okay, so guilt is a big one, right? So if you're feeling guilty, you've got to leave the guilt behind. Have awareness about what you did. Accept it as growth because you now have awareness about it. Number 3, practice self-compassion, not self-criticism. You've probably beat yourself up long enough. You know, we tend to be our biggest critics, and I'm sure you've been torturing yourself about whatever it is from the past that you just can't stand and that you feel so regretful about. Enough. Okay? Enough. Practice self-compassion. You wouldn't be that critical of anybody else. You would never speak to someone you love the way regret often speaks to you. Offer yourself the same compassion you'd offer a friend, someone that you really love. If they were, squirming and cringing in guilt and beating themselves up, you know how hard that is to watch? Like when you care for somebody, when they do that, give yourself that same compassion, right? Offer yourself that and give yourself patience, grace, and the acknowledgement of growth. Again, accepting personal responsibility for the things that you did doesn't mean you agree with them, right? Oh, I'm really messed up in the past. It doesn't mean you're condoning your actions in the past. It means you're releasing the emotion around it. You've got awareness about it now, and you're moving forward. Everybody deserves a road to redemption. Okay, so here's an action that you can use. Say aloud, I forgive who I used to be. I forgive myself for who I used to be. I bless who I am now, and I trust who I am becoming. I'm moving forward. I'm moving beyond this, and I trust who I am becoming. Number 4, move from rumination to action because regret becomes stagnant. It's the same story you're telling over and over and over again in your mental movies. Right? Oh, I did this. I did that. I shouldn't have done that. Should have done this. Should have said that. Should have. You should all over yourself, right? As they say. Regret becomes stagnant when you replay it instead of redirect it. So if something still matters, turn the memory into movement. Okay? If it no longer aligns, release it with intention. Choose one small step today to repair, rebuild, or move forward. Right? So say if it's a broken relationship or something, ask for forgiveness and start building and repairing that relationship. The action puts the regret in the rearview mirror faster. Number 5, remember, nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. Even the choices you wish you could erase were part of your refinement. Right? We're constantly being refined. God's always working on us as long as we're open to Him, refining us. So the little nudges, right? The little nudges, do this, do that. Am I growing again? Am I growing again? Yeah, you are. You're being refined. And you're probably going to be refined until you die. That's called life. If we're lucky enough, we will grow through our entire lives. Some things were protection, some were redirection, some were preparation. God never wastes pain when you're willing to grow from it. So here's kind of an anchor of truth. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? That's Isaiah 43:19. Isaiah 43:19. Again, it's refinement, right? Instead of regret, think of it as growth. And, I think that we're way harder on ourselves than anybody else. We give other people grace. We are willing to forgive other people. What we think is absolutely terrible, it just makes you cringe thinking about it. A lot of times people don't even remember. Such a big deal to you, but use contrast, use contrast. When you're beating yourself up and is it really that bad? Give yourself the grace, right? If you missed an opportunity, you got to believe that there'll be another one coming. You just weren't ready for it. Those regrets oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. I should have went here. I should have went to that school. I should have said yes. I should have said no. You just got to accept that maybe you weren't ready at that time. You were still, you're still being refined, and that there'll be another opportunity. There'll be another chance. Every time you get passed over, every time you think you made the wrong decision or whatever, you've just got to hold faith that that wasn't the right timing, and that a lot of times something better is coming, something better is coming, or something more right for you is coming. And you've got to hold on to that faith. That's all we have, right? That's all we have, is to hold on to the faith and keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. We spend so much time mentally living in the past or projecting the future mentally. What's going to happen if this? What's going to happen if that? Projecting the future, reliving the past. It's air. You know what I mean? It's not real. The only thing that is real is this present moment. And when we go off into projecting the future or reliving the past, we aren't tending to the present. And it's truly the only thing that you have any control over is right now. So it's tempting to go into the past and live through regret. And it's tempting to go into the future and project the worries and what might happen. But it's really most important to be in the present, because your choices in this moment are the only thing that you can control. And if you want better outcomes and less regret, then it serves you to be present. It serves you to tend to what is here now, right? Realign your values, making sure, I think a lot of people don't take an audit of their values. And as we change, through seasons of our lives, sometimes our values shift. It's always good to take an audit of your values so that you don't make mistakes that you'll regret in the future. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert-Garcia. Stay tuned, because Hour 2 is coming up next, and you're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and if you joined us in the first hour, you got to hear all about the stuff that's going on in media, in politics, and I'm sure some people are thinking, "What? This is crazy! Like I thought this or I thought that." I've been like tapped out of the left-right paradigm for a long time. Everything is so manipulated, everything is so manipulated, and it's think this story, that story. Like, it is so difficult to tell what is real anymore. I mean, even the videos we see, we can't trust anymore. It's like you can't trust anything. And so I think it has never been a better time than to work on ourselves. We have a real culture problem in America. We have so many things going on. Like social media is a cesspool these days. I don't know if you've seen it. If you go on TikTok, every single video is trying to sell you something cheap, fast, quick, easy, like money, like everywhere you go. And very few things feel authentic and feel like, there's a connection there. And I don't know about you, but maybe I'm just getting old or whatever, but like, I want more connection. I'm not enjoying any of this fighting and this, there's a news story every day. And for goodness sakes, like people are being assassinated. It just all feels really gross. And so I think the only way out of it, because we have no control. We're talking about billionaires, you guys. These billionaires are fighting it out, and they're going to put in what they want to put in. And we don't have a lot of say over it. But you know what we do have say over? What we do every day. What we do every day. And I'll tell you, there's never been a better time to get healthy. Because this whole thing, I mean, I think everybody can agree, like, this is a crap show, right? Like, oh my goodness. I've got some clips for you today with some news stories like that. If you're not already convinced, you're going to be convinced after today. So let me tell you, none of these people do you want in charge of your health. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's when it's time to really hunker down and start taking personal responsibility for our outcomes and really building strength through community. I think that is the one thing that we will be able to rely on. In hard times, community is what pulls us through. It is what pulls us through. So I've been telling you that I'm going to be focusing on America because there are some very irrational paid influencers and other people who have, constantly out there telling you how terrible your country is, how you should hate your country, and trying to convince you that you don't even have any culture because you're American. Americans don't have any culture. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So I promised you I would be taking a few minutes every show to reacquaint you with your American culture because it's awesome. And you most definitely do have a culture. Okay. So America was actually built on reinvention. So one of the part of the fabric of America, I guess you could say, is innovation. We've innovated so much, right? And I think maybe this is where these people get confused, bless their little hearts. They get a little confused. They think that immigrants coming over, that's our culture, right? We have this influx of Muslims coming over now. And, so there's a lot of burqa wearing and stuff and hijabs and praying in the streets and stuff. Is this now American culture? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Let me tell you about American culture, okay? It's built on innovation. So that means, people come from other places and maybe they bring some of their traditions and bring some of their culture here, but it's really the star of America is the reinvention. So like I shared with you a couple weeks ago now, that, maybe people think that pasta or spaghetti and meatballs, that would have originated in Italy, right? That it would have originated in Italy. Turns out, no, it was innovated here. It started here in America. And the reason why it didn't start in Italy is because they had more money when they got here. So they could make bigger meatballs. They could combine it with pasta. See, back in Italy, they were just making tiny meatballs and they were putting it in soup and stuff because it was scarcity. And when they got here to America, they started having more success. So they reinvented and pasta and spaghetti and meatballs was born. And that's kind of like, that's like part of our culture. Sure. Other things, the ideas come, something's practiced overseas somewhere else, but when it's brought here, it's reinvented. Okay. So that's part of your culture, to reinvent things. So from the very beginning, the United States attracted people seeking new beginnings, explorers, immigrants, inventors, and dreamers. That history created a cultural belief that you don't have to stay where you started. You can build something new. So that's part of our culture, that we don't have to adhere to the British way. We can start something new here. Innovation is part of the national identity because the country itself is a product of reinvention. 2, freedom encourages creativity. So the cultural value of individual liberty shaped a mindset here in America where thinking differently isn't just allowed, it's expected. Expected. Okay? So what'd you think was going to happen during COVID? The very culture of this country is to think differently. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and the ability to challenge ideas fostered a society where risk-taking and unconventional thinking could thrive. Innovation grows wherever people are free to question the status quo. Number 3, failure isn't the end. It's part of the process. This is American culture. In many culture, failure is shameful. Not here, right? Here it's like, oh, well, failure is a few stops before success. In America, failure is often seen as proof that you're trying and stepping. It's a stepping stone. It's not a stopping point. The stories Americans admire, Edison, Ford, Disney, Steve Jobs, all include struggle and setbacks. This created a cultural message that persistence equals progress. Entrepreneurship is celebrated. Number 4, entrepreneurship is celebrated in America. It is not discouraged. America doesn't just allow business ideas, it celebrates them. From small town innovators to Silicon Valley tech. The cultural message is if you can dream it, you can build it. This mindset led to breakthroughs in transportation. It's made breakthroughs in health, communication, agriculture, technology. This is the area that I had this thought while I was putting this list together. Maybe it's America that will innovate come up with, innovation around AI. Maybe it's America that will come up with the answer. Everybody's, concerned about artificial intelligence and what the digital revolution means and the biological. Maybe it's America that will come up with the way because of our culture of being, of reinventing and innovating. The mindset led to breakthroughs in all kinds of things. So why not this? We're certainly concerned about it. That will lead to a solution. Competition. Number 5, competition drives advancement. With a strong free market system, innovation isn't optional, it's survival. Businesses and creators continually push for faster, better, more efficient solutions because someone else is always trying to improve the idea. That competitive spirit has led the U.S. to pioneer industries like aviation, space exploration, digital technology, film, and modern medicine. And I would just say, that's when government stays out of it. Do you see what I mean when I was talking about in the first hour? Like, we need to return to our roots. We need to reacquaint ourselves with what our culture is in America and stop taking the easy way out, right? The government is offering you money, when the government is offering you this, and it's not free. It's ruining the American culture. It comes at a very expensive price. We have to rely on community when we need help, not government. Government was never designed to rein itself in and to keep itself bound so it doesn't overstep. It's not designed to do that. That's our job. Our job is to make sure government doesn't overstep. But I feel like we're really off the rails with that, to the point now where it's corporate government. You know, we have these business people that get into government to advance their agendas and become billionaires. Politics is now the funnel to become rich. I shared with you in technology, those tech guys that were talking about, here's the model. All you got to do is come up with an idea and then go get the money from the government. What? That's not American. Get yourself funded. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Most people never get to the root cause of their fatigue, you guys. Ugh, breaks my heart. People suffering and beating themselves up for weight. Even inflammation has become a big problem for a lot of people. And it's because they're chasing their symptoms instead of restoring balance in the body. Laura from Colorado said this: I was tired of quick fixes that never lasted. I tried everything. Tammy helped me see what my body was really asking for. With her plan, I regained my energy, improved my digestion, and finally, I feel in control of my health again. If you need help, try it today. Get a 90-day plan from me, priority access to my text line, and VIP access to our weekly wellness workshops. You can schedule a free health and lifestyle assessment with me at naturalinspiredstore.com/assessment. We'll spend some time together. You know, some of this stuff is a little bit of detective work. I love it. I love doing it. I get really excited about it because I know I've worked with enough people. I have enough resources at my fingertips to shoot you different information so that you can make decisions about your health that are informed and you can connect to real solutions. So go to naturalinspiredstore.com/assessment or text me at 720-303-8868. Book your assessment today. Get into the Naturally Inspired community. We are changing lives over here in a good way. All right, let's get to some top stories today because there's a lot in the news today, and I want to make sure that we're covering it. Wouldn't you know it, everybody? Nobody trusts the health agencies. What? Yeah, I can't imagine why. Can you? It's true. And Bobby Kennedy Jr. knows it. Here he is trying to explain it to, I'm sorry, but what seems like a very dense interviewer. Here it is.
Answer, I think, is pretty elementary. That the public health agencies have not been honest. And no matter how well-intentioned it is to tell a noble lie, to get an outcome that you want, it never works over the long time.
But I do have to ask, the mRNA vaccine has been proven safe and effective. It has been proven to, according to Steve Bannon's War Room, NIH Director Jay Bhattacharya said that the mRNA platform no longer viable, but that it saved nearly 2 million lives with minimal safety issues compared to other vaccines.
Well, what Jay Bhattacharya said is that we don't know because the data is unreliable, and we don't know what the injury rates were. There's over 5,000 peer-reviewed studies that are documenting injuries or supposed injuries from the vaccine. We don't know. There's not much we know about it. What we know is this, and this is the reason that we discontinued the platform again only for upper respiratory. We're still doing the research on oncology, on cancers where it may be very, very effective. For upper respiratory infections, it did not prove very effective during COVID. And the reason is that there's a number of reasons. One is it targets a single protein, which means that all the virus has to do is to mutate out that protein, and then the virus is immune to the vaccine. That's what happened with Omicron. It actually encourages the virus to mutate and prolongs the pandemic. The other problem with mRNA platforms for upper respiratory illnesses is that you can't control the amount of antigen that everybody is getting. When you give a vaccine, you want to know exactly how much antigen is, because some people react very, very badly and can get very, very badly injured from too much. What the mRNA vaccine does is it turns your body into an antigen factory. And we can't control the biodistribution of that antigen in your body. We don't know how much your body is producing. We don't have any way of controlling it. And we can't tell, we can't dictate where it's.
I just can't help but think about every time, I hear him explain it like this. I can't help but think about the Renee. I always butcher her last name because it's like Zwigen or something like that. It's like Z-Y-G-E. I don't know. I guess you can't pronounce it barely. Anyway, her first name's Renee. She worked for DARPA. She worked for DARPA, and she had this video out like pre-COVID where she was explaining this new technology platform, but there was a big problem with it. And the problem was it didn't know how to shut itself off. It was self-replicating, right? And that was the big problem with it. And that's still the big problem with it, isn't it? So listening to him explain that, I can't help it. I remember when I found that video of her explaining the technology years, before, and that was the problem with it. That was the very problem with it. And I can't help but listen to this lady too. She has to get that NLP in there, that neuro-linguistic programming for the safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. I mean, how many times do you think you've heard that in repetition, right? This is just a propaganda line. Safe and effective. It's like, everybody knows. No, we don't. No, we don't. And let me tell you why. That is an idiotic statement. First of all, people really weren't dying from COVID at the numbers that they would have you believe. It was not that serious for most people, unless you had like 4 comorbidities, then you are going to get through it. Okay. Oh, let me just add into that as well. As long as you didn't go to the hospital and get the killer protocol of remdesivir and ventilation, you also probably didn't die from it. So saving 2 million lives and all, it saved millions and millions. You don't know that. First of all, the testing itself is absolute garbage. Okay. These home kits or whatever, these PCR tests, that they weren't ever designed for testing. The whole damn thing was based off of fake tests that were never designed to test like that. So the whole thing is just ridiculous. Oh, it saved so many lives. You have no possibility of knowing that. First of all, look up your age group, like I did. Look up your age group, look up your health, and then you'll realize that you had a 99.99% chance, most of us, of surviving COVID. Unless you were in the upper age bracket, then you had, less of a chance of surviving. But also if you had less comorbidities, then same as the flu. The whole thing was constructed, okay? The whole narrative constructed is a bioweapon. It leaked from a lab. We'll never probably get acknowledgement on this stuff, but it still feels good to hear Bobby just kind of tell her, yeah, no, that's not what he said. No. So we couldn't possibly know. We don't even know how many cases we had legitimately. All we knew is that we had dancing nurses and dancing doctors, right? And we had late night TV, the vaccine, doing little singing song and dance numbers. I don't think we'll ever get the proper data from it. It's just crazy. So yeah, nobody trusts the health agencies. Geez, I wonder why, because you lied and you lied and you lied and you're still lying. So yeah, pretty much nobody trusts you. So where do you go from here? I think that it's going to look different in the future. It's going to look different. First of all, people aren't operating off assumed knowledge anymore. They're not just oh, okay, whatever you tell me, not going to fly. We want sourced material. We want to understand our bodies. We want to understand biology so that we can make informed decisions. I mean, the vaccine rate, last I heard it was down 38%, meaning 38% drop off on compliance. It was a big whopper of a lie, and a lot of people got burned. So that's where we're at with that. How do you restore that? I think giving people back their freedom. Don't you think that would be a good start? Just saying, you know what? I totally understand your mistrust. Here's your freedom back. I'm not going to mandate any of this stuff from you. We're going to have to build the relationship back. So you can start by giving all the freedom back, giving us more choices to choose. How about taking care of the health care, health insurance catastrophe? How about stop subsidizing them and open up freedom to choose in terms of how we want to be treated? I think that would go a long way. Not all the way. Thank goodness, I don't think we'll ever be back to full blind trust in the medical system after this. I think this stuff that we're all carrying around with us, this will be generational. Our kids will know not to blindly trust. But I do think starting with some freedom, heck of a way. I can think of hey, you get to choose. You get to build these plans. You want to go see an acupuncturist? You need herbs. You need vitamins. You need supplements. You need massage. You need somatic. You need frequency. You need, CBD. How can we help? That'd be a start. That'd be a great start. Instead of telling us, oh, we don't cover that. We're not doing that. That's quackery. Freedom. It's always a good place to start, I feel like. Oh, the next story I have to cover, it's a big one. We'll probably get started on it here before the break and then carry over because this is a big topic. But very, very important to understand that this whole thing that we're going into, this great reset thing, whatever you want to call it, it's all about currency. Stay tuned. I'll explain when we come back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and I'm so glad that you are here.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Jen wrote in on my text line to let me know over the weekend, that her inflammation has improved so much. She can't thank me enough. Of course, she's changed her diet a little bit, but she is also taking the cellular reset. This is a wonderful polyphenol. It's very potent. I have many people that sing its praises now, but I got another text over the weekend about this, and she's just not experiencing the pain and discomfort that she was feeling before, just after even 30 days on the cellular reset. So go to naturallyinspiredstore.com and click on the cellular reset graphic. If you have problems with inflammation, even it's helping people that are perimenopause and in menopause with hot flashes and whatnot. Polyphenols, they are a wonderful way to restore your body. So check it out today, naturallyinspiredstore.com. Just click on the cellular reset graphic. All right, Mark Carney. So you know Mark Carney in Canada. I know I keep harping on Canada, but I just can't help it because I think they are moving so fast over there. And I think that we shouldn't be sleeping on it here in America. Okay, we should not be sleeping on it. So Mark Carney, he's kind of a finance guy. He was the governor of the Bank of England. So that's the UK's central bank. Okay, he did that from 2013 to 2020. Okay, so he's a big banker. The UK's financial regulator is what he was. Now he's the Prime Minister of Canada. And what is he up to over there if it isn't just pushing climate change? Take a listen very carefully. This is a little clip from Mark Carney.
But I want to highlight a few other issues before my time is up. First, the importance of high-integrity, standardized carbon markets that have the potential to shift capital flows to those most affected by climate change, including being integrated with JETPs, such as the JETP here, changing the incentives and the financial calculations to decarbonize. I'd suggest that we can catalyze enormous private sector demand for these credits by committing AI data center development to be carbon neutral. We need a price on carbon. I salute my neighbor, the European Union, in pricing carbon. And
did you hear that? You guys. I laugh because, what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? God's on the throne. God's on the throne. But you guys, this is just a shift from the petrodollar into the climate cult. Okay? Into the climate dollar, if you will. Remember the other day I was telling you about currency? Like if we all decide that buttons, these black buttons are the new currency. As long as we all believe it and buy into it, then all of a sudden, we got a currency here because everybody's accepting it and believing in it. Okay? Same thing here with the climate cult. Okay? So we're going from the petrodollar into the people carbon dollar. Yeah. Because your consumption of carbon is going to be the currency. Okay. You heard it in his words there. He thinks that we need value on carbon. Oh, do you, Mark? Do you? You see, the more carbon that you use, the more currency you will be spending. And that's really what this Great Reset is all about, right? It's about getting off the petrodollar. Maybe that's what it is. Like the oil people are kind of fighting back because they don't want to get off the oil dollar, right? Because they own all the oil. People like Mark Carney want to get you off the oil dollar and into the climate dollar because he owns all the climate stuff. Yeah, he owns all the climate stuff. So it's like, we had the oil barons, period. Now we got the climate baron period. See what I'm saying? And it's going to be all about moving. So we were on gold, right? Then we went to the petrodollar, and now we're going to go to the carbon dollar, even though the entire basis of the climate change cult is false. But that's why it's so important that you believe it. That's why when you go on YouTube, they say, well, we own the science on carbon, on climate change. You're not allowed to not believe it. Because if you don't believe it, this currency doesn't work. And that's where we're at. We're in the throes of this carbon markets, right? I mean, they tested it out with ESG and with businesses, and now it's coming to the individual. It's just where it's going. And so, I think people are going to, there's going to be a lot of suffering getting people over to the carbon market. But Canada's all in. And, it's kind of funny because, gosh, I don't know. It's just crazy. I saw some stuff about Canada recently. And, when I grew up in Esquimalt, British Columbia, and it's got a lot of First Nations people, like my high school, like lots of First Nation kids went to my schools. They were in every classroom of mine. And, we used to honor their traditions, and we'd have them come in and do their traditions inside the school, like the dances and all that stuff. And it was about back then they were teaching about like honoring the land and the ancestral connection to the land, and how important it is that because the native culture was so tied to the land. And, this land acknowledgement stuff, that they've been doing in Canada. Well, now they're just like land grabbing for minerals. They don't want the land. They want the money. The tribes want the money. They're grabbing land that has minerals on it, right? Because energy is the commodity. Energy. And we need it because of the data centers. And Mark thinks that, all data centers should be carbon neutral. Of course Mark does, because Mark's invested in all the carbon neutral stuff, you guys. He was literally running Brookfield, which is totally invested in the climate cult stuff. Oh, but he just loves the environment. He's the new robber baron, he's the new oil tycoon. I don't know how people don't see this, This is all about changing the currency. It's what it's all about. The lockdowns, getting you used to doing things online, and it's just really tearing our society apart because it's so isolating. I don't know, even just going into stores and seeing how informal people are nowadays. Used to have to get dressed to go to work, and people are just I don't know, they're like slobs. Walking around sweatpants and baggy shirts and no makeup, no hair, like no pride, essentially. And I don't know. I think that was all purposeful because, customer service is so unpleasant now. The people that you get, because the workplaces are so unpleasant and they're so laid back and they're so like unprofessional that people are going to welcome talking to a robot. It's just the degradation of our society as a whole. Like, it's just, come on, you're making the whole thing look shoddy here. Get dressed. You know what I'm saying? Get dressed. Come on, let's go. This is America. Everybody's just kind of lackadaisical. And it just seems, so unprofessional. But they want that because this is a great reset. You get a robot for that. Don't worry, you're just a dumb human. Let's integrate integrate machines into your biology. You're going to need it because you're too dumb as a human. Gosh, there's a lot of people falling for that. There's a lot of people falling for the super intelligence. I'll just get a Neuralink, or I'll just get upgraded through my biology and I'll just know everything and I can think faster and I'm going to be superhuman. Okay. You can barely operate the body you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Can't even keep your weight under control. You know what I mean? It's like now you want superhuman capability. I'm not picking on humans, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we got some big problems in the flesh here, like without the super intellect. You can't even really manage that, And now you're going to like upgrade to a super intellect. Is that going to fix everything for you? This is ridiculous. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. But he's telling you right there. Mark Carney's telling you right there. He believes carbon should have value. And he believes that all the data centers, yes, all the data centers should be carbon neutral. I agree with you. Oh, yes, carbon. Net zero. Nobody thinks it's odd that he came from that. Like, he came from being like the head of the bank in the UK. Currency. He goes all in on the climate change, stays there for a couple years. And then, when Westinghouse, Westinghouse was bought by, I think it was Japan, somebody in Japan, and Japan sold it to Brookfield because regulation was just too crazy. They couldn't get past the regulation stuff because the governments were not, allowing them to get past the regulation. And so then you're telling me, okay, so then Carney buys Westinghouse and then suddenly he goes into politics to control regulation. And now Canada is on the freaking super train to all things climate change. Oh, I know. Just a coinky dink. Gosh. Oh, my Lord. Stay tuned. I got so much more to come. Still got your health topic. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448 That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
No time to waste. I want to jump into this next story really fast. Just want to make you aware, the little something something, a popular soup brand, Campbell Soup, has been in the hot seat here. Check out this clip and then we'll move to our health topic shortly after. Take a listen.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ty Steele.
I'm Kimberly Gill. Those allegations are now at the center of a lawsuit claiming the company's vice president went on an hour-long tirade attacking the company's products and employees before taking aim at its customers.
And the former employee recorded it all. Eric Erickson shares that recording and what the company is saying about it.
We have shit for poor people. Who buys our shit?
And that's just part of an over an hour-long rant, says former security analyst for Campbell's, Robert Garza of Monroe.
I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. It's so healthy. Now that I know what the in it, even in a can of soup, I look at it, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer.
The recording allegedly of Campbell's VP and Chief Information Security Officer Martin Bally.
He has no filter.
Bally, along with another supervisor and Campbell Soup Company, named in a lawsuit filed Thursday. The suit claiming Bally made racist remarks, admits to coming to work high, and Garza fired for coming forward.
In this longer piece, these guys work from home. That's what they revealed here. It's like, oh, he worked from home most of the time, worked remotely. This is what I'm talking about, like the lack of professionalism. Right? This is Campbell Soup. That's a big brand. Not that I'm a fan of it. I mean, I think when we were kids, probably Campbell's wasn't that bad, but like there's a whole lot of different stuff in this food now. Bioengineered chicken, yuck. But that's the state of things. It's just so unprofessional. So anyway, hopefully you're not eating Campbell Soup. Canned soup is really not the best, hit me up for some recipes if you need to make your own soup. I'm happy to help you. 720-303-8868. You don't need to be eating that. Lord knows what's in these cans these days. Let's get to our health topic today, because today I'm talking about what causes hair loss. Okay, so a lot of people think, well, I'm just getting older, and my hair's thinning. Well, there can be some reasons for that as well that you need to be aware of. So chronic NSAID use can disrupt hair follicle regeneration. So NSAIDs can alter prostaglandin balance, chemicals that help regulate inflammation, and hair follicle cycling. So when prostaglandins shift, the follicle can enter a premature resting phase, slowing regrowth and accelerating shedding. So if you're taking a lot of over-the-counter pain relievers and you're losing your hair, this could be a reason why. Also, silent nutrient deficiencies can be a cause of hair loss. They can shrink the hair follicle. So hair isn't essential for survival, obviously. So when nutrients are low, the body prioritizes organs and not hair. So common hidden deficiencies linked to hair thinning include zinc, biotin, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, sometimes iron, and even a mild deficiency in these can weaken the hair shaft, reduce thickness, and slow new growth. So many women who have babies, after they have a baby, and maybe even after they've been nursing for a while, they'll notice thinning hair. So make sure that you are supplementing, right? You're getting a good amount of vitamins and minerals. But even if you've been through a lot of stress recently, that depletes your minerals as well. You want to make sure that you're supplementing with them. So also endocrine disruptors, like phthalates, they interfere with hair hormones. So everyday body care products, perfumes, plastics, air fresheners, cosmetics, these all contain phthalates. And these chemicals act like synthetic hormones, and exposure can disrupt estrogen, testosterone, and also thyroid balance, all directly tied to hair growth. For some people, phthalates trigger a process of miniaturizing the hair follicle. And it's similar to the pattern seen in genetic hair loss as well. So it looks like it's genetic, right? But it can be because of phthalate exposure. So what is in your personal care products? Sluggish liver detox pathways can cause circulating DHT. DHT is the hormone most commonly linked to hair loss, but what's often missed is why DHT builds up. It's a sluggish liver. So overwhelmed by medication, by alcohol, by chemical exposure, or poor diet, this may make your liver struggle to break down excess hormones. And when detox pathways are slow, this DHT remains active longer and can weaken your hair follicles over time. Also, chronic stress. Oh my gosh, stress is linked to almost everything, I'll tell you. Chronic stress shrinks blood flow to the scalp. So stress hormone, like cortisol, can constrict your blood vessels. And when circulation decreases, fewer nutrients and less oxygen reach the hair root. And so the follicle slowly weakens. Stress can also trigger an immune response where the body mistakenly targets hair follicles, accelerating shedding or causing patchy loss of hair like alopecia. Also, gut imbalance can block nutrient absorption. So even someone who eats enough nutrients, they may not be absorbing them. So you're not what you eat necessarily. Well, you kind of are, but you're more so what you absorb, right? So conditions like leaky gut, low stomach acid, SIBO, candida, overgrowth, or chronic antibiotic use can prevent key minerals and proteins from being absorbed. And that leads to thinning or brittle hair. Number 7 here on my list is protein. You know, I am constantly pushing protein on you, but low protein intake weakens keratin structure, and hair is made of keratin. It's a protein. So when daily protein intake is too low, the body reallocates amino acids for healing, for hormones, for enzymes, and for immunity. So hair becomes thinner, it breaks easier, and grows more slowly because it's living off of leftovers, so to speak. So, balance is key when it comes to your hair. You want to make sure that you're eating for nutrients. In our culture in America, we tend to eat a lot for entertainment. We eat for celebration. We eat for flavor. We eat sometimes for stress. Like there's a lot of reasons why we eat other than nutrition. We're not making decisions with the foods that we eat because we're thinking, oh, I really need to nutrify my body. That takes practice, right? That actually takes a repetition and practice to think I'm eating this food to nutrify my body. So when you eat with intention, you can eat to protect your hair. You can eat purposefully, right? Getting enough zinc, getting enough vitamin D, getting enough omega-3 fatty acids, supplement. And then the other piece to this is making sure that you're using products that aren't full of phthalates. A lot of the shampoo, conditioner, stuff that we put on our hair is actually causing disruption in the hair follicle because it has phthalates and scents and fragrance and all this stuff in it. So you want to get yourself a clean shampoo and conditioner. I'm going to put the link to my favorite ones on our product website. A scalp treatment, that has biotin in it, shampoo, conditioner, and one of my favorite things is the Up and Glowing drink that we have that has collagen in it, also has biotin in it. So this little practice of making sure that you're taking care of your hair, right? Don't be using products that are toxifying your body. It's such an easy switch. I just think more people need to understand it, right? So many of the things that we use that our intention is to, thicken our hair or get better skin or, be healthier. They're what I call greenwashed many times, or we're buying a product on assumed knowledge. We're buying products because of the fancy labels. We're buying products because of its claims. Like, it really is, such a tainted market out there with products that make claims about this or that and the next thing, and they never address your health. They never address your health. So all of our radio specials are on the front page of naturallyinspiredstore.com. You can just click on the graphic for your health concern. We have stuff on there for inflammation. In our health segment recently, I have talked a lot about hormones, your hypothalamus. I've talked about prostate health. I've talked about weight. I've explained a lot of these different things in our health segments, and all solutions are on the naturallyinspiredstore.com page. So you can head on over there and just kind of find the graphic. We're building on that page all the time, trying to make it as simple, clear, and easy for you to connect to real solutions for health. Of course, you can always book a 30-minute consultation with me. You can do that at naturallyinspiredstore.com too. So if you feel like, yes, I want to take care of my hair, but I also want to do this, clean up your product line. I cannot stress that enough. I did a little Substack over the weekend as well, and I revisited a clip that I played on the show from an expert toxicologist, who was just like frustrated and angry because so many of our products, again, they're making claims that they do this for you, they do that for you, and they're toxic. They're toxic. Like, it is. If more people knew, right? Because who cares switching out your cleaning products, right? Does that really matter? Like, it does to your health, but you don't know what you don't know. And so you've got to spread the word to people and let them know that it's important that we clean and use products on our body that are not filled with phthalates, that aren't endocrine disruptors, because all of these toxins end up in disease. And you think, well, how could the FDA approve it if it's not good for us? It's approved in tiny doses. And in tiny doses, they can make the claim that it's safe. But what they're not accounting for is the fact that how many products in your house are you using every day that contain these endocrine disruptors? Because they're only giving approval to the one product at a time. They're not making the connection for you that you're using multiple products, right? You're using shampoo, you're using conditioner, you're using cosmetics, you're using laundry detergent, you're using air freshener, you're using perfume, you're using soaps, you're using, dishwashing soap, you're using laundry soap, all these different things. And it's all stacking up with your toxic burden. So take some burden away and make the switch to clean EWG certified products. You can do it at naturallyinspiredstore.com. Protect your hair, people. You'll be glad you did. See you tomorrow, everybody. This has been Naturally Inspired Radio.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. NaturallyInspiredRadio.com.